Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my donation-based New Moon in Aries and Spring Equinox workshop. I'm so excited for you to be here. This is a really powerful time. I have lots of really good information, and I'm really excited to tap in and to get into this with you. If you have not already made a donation, you can do so by following the link. There's 3 different options as far as how you want to make a donation, and the amount is totally up to you. And just know that I always set the intention for that to return to you infinitely, and I'm very grateful for any donation that you choose to make. We're really going to get into it today, so grab your pen, grab your paper, definitely sit down and hold tight for this because there's going to be a lot of different practices and questions to ask yourself and things that I want to go over because we've got 2 really powerful events and a lot of energy to discuss. So let's go ahead and get started. So on March 20th, we have Spring Equinox. It's also going to be the first day of the sun being in Aries, and that's going to be happening at 2:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, okay? So it's the beginning of all of this. Aries is already influencing this. So spring equinox is when the day and the night are the equal amount of time. So we're coming out of winter, we're coming out of the long nights, we're coming out of the darkness, we're coming out of the cold, and we're coming into longer days, more sunlight, more warmth, and shorter nights, okay? Think of the winter as the death, the hibernation, the cold, right? The isolation. And think about all those things that happened during that time. And now the sun is coming out, the flowers are starting to bloom, it's getting a little bit warmer, the daylight's a little bit longer. We're feeling inspired to come out of our hibernation collectively. So the next day on March 21st, we have a new moon in Aries, and this is going to be happening at 10:25 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This new moon in Aries is basically like the energetic new year. So it's like the Fool card in the tarot. It's the astrological new year. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It is this fresh, new, rebirthed energy. It's excited. You know, we can also relate it to the Fool card in a sense of like maybe a little bit naive and new, but not necessarily in a negative way, in a way of being like, I am excited for this journey, not really sure what's in store. This date is also a palindrome, so it's 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then backwards it's the same. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, which I also think is interesting that it's 3, 2, 1, so it's counting down. We're closing it off from the winter and we're counting up the 1, 2, 3 into something new. It's like the death and rebirth, like the number symbolism within this is so on par with what is going on right now. In numerology, this date equals a 3. 3 is equivalent to the Holy Trinity, the body, mind, and spirit, the past, present, and future. Kind of like everything all in one, past, present, future, body, mind, spirit, Holy Trinity, everything all in one, this very powerful collection of energy. So I want you to think of Pisces season like the ending. Pisces is the end of the zodiac. It's the most wise. It has all of the other ones together. So I want you to think of Pisces season as the ending, the closing out, the death, if you will. And I want you to think of the Aries season as the beginning, the renewal, the rebirth. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes moment. For some reason, Aries always makes me think of the phoenix. Like, I know that there's no specific relation, as far as I know, but it always reminds me of that because it's that fire, it's that ignition. It's like what comes after that death and destruction and being completely reborn. So really think of the phoenix during this time because I feel like the energy is just like exactly what we really need to utilize. So with this renewal, with this Aries season, with this beginning, with this spring equinox, with all of this fresh energy, I really want you to utilize the energy of Aries, the fire element, this fun, foolish, energetic, excited energy, and run with it. Because now's the time to really get clear on these intentions and to go with it. Because as this astrological new year starts, as this new energy unfolds, it's the perfect time for us to align with it, right? It's just divinely supported for us to do this. There are a few other influences that I want to note, and I also want to remind you that I am not an astrologist. I get this information for myself and to share with you all, and I encourage you to look things up yourself. But know that Pluto is going to move into Aquarius on the 23rd. This energy may be really intense, and look into it and find out how it may affect you specifically. Be very intentional with this new moon and this spring equinox, especially with this influence, because we need to be very clear on where we're going. We need to be very clear on what we're doing so that we're not thrown off track or deeply affected, so now set these intentions and stay very clear and true to them so that that influence doesn't affect us in a way that would throw us off track. Again, not to be afraid of it, look into it and see how it applies for you, but it's just something to be aware of. Pluto doesn't change very often, like every 20 years, maybe more. Again, don't quote me on this, but very, very slow moving planet. So that's going to be a very big shift for us. So I want to talk a little bit about the spring equinox now and some things I recommend, some things to be aware of. Firstly, this is the time to clean. There's a reason why spring cleaning is a thing. We're all kind of emerging from this hibernation, from this darkness, from this really stale, I want to even call it like kind of depressive energy from the winter. And now that the sun is coming out and the days are a little bit longer, everyone's feeling a little bit more motivated to like clean up, inspired to move. We're coming out of that hibernation. We're like bears, basically, coming out of this hibernation. We're hungry, we're excited, we're ready to breathe some fresh air, and we're ready to see the sunlight. So utilize this time to clean, cleanse, reorganize, declutter. And this isn't just for your home. This is for your office, your cars, your house, your rooms, your closets, everything, the shed in the backyard. Reorganize and declutter. Get rid of anything that you don't need. Use this time to really reset for the whole year. Utilize this energy for newness. Cleanse your space. Open your windows. Open your windows while you're cleaning. Open your windows while you're cleansing. If you choose to smoke cleanse or use moon water, it's totally up to you. You can also just use traditional cleaners. But if you do use a smoke cleanse, please do your research and find one that is not a closed practice. I want to remind you that white sage is a closed practice. And find something else to burn. Rosemary, juniper. There's lots of things. Do your own research and find one that is appropriate, and make sure that we are giving respect and honor to indigenous cultures and not utilizing things that are not for us. Okay. So this is another good time to set goals. So perfectly in time with a new moon, especially with this Aries energy, set your goals, renew your intentions, renew and set manifestations. So revisit them or set new ones. This is another really fun idea. Plant something or get a new plant. You could also pick flowers or get some flowers, but make sure that whatever you're doing, you're giving thanks to the earth that gave it to you. With respect and honor, of course, just really recognizing where this life came from. With respect and honor. I personally try not to pick flowers very much because I feel like I want to enjoy them in their natural beauty. There's nothing wrong with picking flowers, but I choose to do that. And if I do, ask permission first. I say, can I pick you? And I tune in and I listen. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Stick to what you know. I don't like buying flowers from the store very often because I want to know where they came from. And I want to really be able to honor the earth. Again, buy a plant, pick some flowers, do whatever you feel, but this is a good time to really honor the earth and connect with it in this spring renewal. I also want to recommend some positive do's to do at this time. Floral teas, floral scents, wearing floral. Really just embrace this newness and the blooms in the springtime and appreciate all of the new life around you. So go for a walk in nature, or when you're driving, take note. Where I am, there's a ton of new daffodils blooming and they are so beautiful. And just like the grass is getting greener, take a moment to appreciate it. Even if like I said, even if you're just driving to work and you're like, wow, look at those beautiful flowers. Give some respect to it, acknowledge it. The darkness of the winter is ending. The renewal of the spring is coming. That death that we experience in winter is over. Now we're coming into that time of sunlight, warmth, connection, and waking up from this hibernation. And, open our eyes a little bit. Take those blinders off. Notice all the life that is blooming around you. We're coming out of that deep reflective. I keep wanting to call it depressive because I feel like a lot of us have had the winter blues for sure. Something else to note about this time is that the veil is very thin right now. So you may be having intense dreams. You may be very sensitive to energy. You may be getting visits from spirits. If you are someone who is in connection with that, don't be surprised if you aren't someone who usually has those encounters, and maybe you do. And also don't second guess it. If it's happening, it's probably real and it's probably true, okay? So tune into it. Know that the veil is thin. And protect yourself during this time too, because the veil is thin. So this isn't to be afraid of. This is just make sure you're cleansing yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself. This is also a time when some people choose to do cleanses of their own in whatever capacity. This is definitely not me trying to preach any type of diet culture at all. Some people just choose to do juice cleanses, or they'll quit coffee for a while or something like that. Just being very conscious of what you're putting in your body and intentional, and pressing a little bit of a reset button with that as well. So I want you to get out your pen and paper, and I have some journal prompts for you, and I want you to revisit them whenever you feel inclined. You can also pause this and take your time with each one. I encourage you to do so, but it's totally up to you. So the first thing that I want you to ask yourself and to write down is, what am I rebirthing? What am I rebirthing? Is it me? Is it a project? Is it a passion? Is it a connection? What am I rebirthing during this time? If you're not sure yet, it's fine. Think about it. The second thing I want you to ask yourself is, what am I welcoming? So maybe you don't have it yet. Maybe it's something you haven't figured out. It's not in the works yet, but what are you welcoming? What would you like to happen in this next chapter, in this next season, in this astrological new year? What am I welcoming in this time? And then I want you to ask yourself, where do I need to utilize this fire? So this fire of Aries, this intensity propelling us forward, this support, this energetic, this excitement, where do I need to utilize it? So maybe there's an area of your life right now that has been a little lackluster, or you haven't really been giving it a lot of attention. And where in your life can you really apply and use that fire to get you forward? Again, you can pause this and revisit this as many times as you want to, but really I encourage you to sit with these questions and ask yourself deeply, because this is a perfect time to really get intentional and to turn inward and really inquire within these questions. So next, while we have our journals and our pens out, I want to introduce this really powerful manifestation technique that I utilize very frequently. And I strongly encourage you to pick it up, try it out. You can revisit it as many times or whenever you want in your life, but this is something to keep within your practices and keep in your back pocket. It's something that I find to be incredibly powerful. And this is the 30 days of money manifestation. Okay, so on day 1, which is today, you're gonna write down the date, and then you're gonna write down, you could write down day 1 if you want to, or the number 1, and then you're gonna write down 1,000, okay? So we're gonna start with 1,000, and want you to ask yourself, what would you do with $1,000 if it was just handed to you right now? Here are the rules. It cannot be for debt or bills, okay? So this needs to be something outside of that. It can be anything, literally anything, but not debt or bills. So $1,000 for day 1, what would you do if it just landed in your lap right now? I find that sometimes this is actually harder to figure out what you would do if it landed in your lap than you would think, especially when you remove the idea of debt and bills. So turn inward. What would you do with it if it just landed in your lap and if it wasn't for debt and bills? And then tomorrow, day 2, we're going to do $2,000. So every day we're going to increase the amount by $1,000. And we're gonna do this for 30 days. So at the end, the 30th day will be $30,000, okay? We're gonna increase every single day. It's a really simple practice, and you're just going to write down day 1, day 2, day 3, write the date down, and write down how much, okay? How much? What are you gonna do with that money? What do you need? What would you like to do? And I just encourage you to lean into this, because you're going to be very surprised by like day 20 when you've already listed out basically everything that you would need. And now you're like, what am I gonna do with it if it's not for debt and if it's not for bills? And I also encourage you to stay away from the idea of just like going through and saying savings, savings, savings. Like, how though? Like, are you gonna invest it in something? Is it for something? Be really specific with it. But start to notice when you get to a certain point where it's not bills and it's not debt and you have the things that you need. This is the practice to start expanding what we're gonna do with like big amounts of money. Not just that, what are we gonna do with it when we have $30,000 land in our lap? Are we gonna open a retreat center? Are we going to give back to a community? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna create? Really dream big, because this is how we adopt a wealth mindset. This is how we get to know what it's like to have that much money. You know, $30,000 landing in our lap, and at that point you've had everything you could possibly think of kind of come through. Not everything, but a lot, the needs. So start to dream big. Start to really think about it, because we need to dream bigger for the money that we're going to receive. And as you do this each day, I want you to sit with it for a moment. It doesn't need to be a long time. Envision it, okay? It's $1,000 and you say, I'm going to invest in a mentorship program to help me heal. And that's your first priority. What does it feel like? What does it look like? Sit with it, meditate on it, really invest your energy in this vision and what this is going to give you, okay? And do it for 30 days straight, intentionally, okay? So I've already pulled quite a few cards to tap into this energy. And there's a lot of acknowledgement of transition. I'm gonna show you how it came through. But here I definitely want to say, there's an acknowledgement of the struggle and the chaos, but there's also an acknowledgement of your choice. I feel like you almost like woke up, and what I was seeing when I first pulled these was like you deciding to get yourself out of bed and throw yourself in the shower again, with this like feeling of kind of like depression, being like, all right, I've been in my pajamas for 7 days straight. I'm gonna get up today. I'm gonna go shower. I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna go to a yoga class and go to the store, and I'm gonna call a friend. You know, like pulling yourself out of that and saying, I am not doing this anymore. I'm done struggling. I'm done being in that. The sun is coming out. I'm coming out. There's this energy of just being so done with the darkness, which is amazing because you're realizing that this is a choice, right? The darkness of winter is nothing's wrong with that. Like, it's intentional. We need that time of reflection and slowing down. Personally, I find that time to be incredibly challenging because there's not as much stimulation. There's not as much going on, and we're really called to reflect and turn inward. I know you know what I mean. It's a lot. There's also this feeling here of like emotional, like maturity and emotional growth and turning inward. I feel like there's a trust, an element of trust influenced here where we are like, okay, all right, I am going to listen more. I'm not going to think as much, and I'm going to trust that, you know, trust within karma, trust within balance. I want to talk about karma a little bit too, because something's happening with Saturn. Just know that karma is definitely being paid and sorted out, and you don't have to do anything. There's a lot of that happening now. So for those of us who have been putting in the work, who have intended on being a good person, who have been honest and transparent, and who have had pure intentions in this world, things are going to start happening in a really positive way in our favor because we have been putting in that work. Again, if you haven't been doing that, now's the time to really choose it. Now's the time to say, I'm sorry. Now's the time to forgive yourself, forgive others, okay? This isn't like to say anything bad is gonna happen. It's just, this is the time to really, really do it, okay? Again, with this transitional type energy, with the acknowledgement of where we've been, it's been hard. It's been isolating. I feel like we've kind of just been a dark box for a little while. We're finally coming out of that. This is on its side, definitely indicating to me that we're kind of in the middle. You know, we're coming out of that hibernation. You may not be fully ready yet. That's fine. You know, we're emerging from our dark cave. I feel like there's this element of being like the sun is almost too bright. So we kind of have to ease our way in. You know, if you were in a dark room for 5 months and you decided to open the door, the brightness would be blinding because you're so used to the dark. Okay, so there may be a little bit of feeling of like transition, intensity. It feels like we're all warming up to it, but we may not be ready to just be like, I'm out and I'm ready to shine. It's okay. We're a flower, we're growing up from the ground, but like we haven't bloomed yet. You know, we're gonna bloom, it's fine, it's gonna happen. And these also came out sideways, which shows me that it's like on its way, it's happening, it's coming. That's how I read this, at least. That's how it communicates to me. Again, I don't read cards traditionally, okay? So this is purely intuitive and what comes through and how it connects in my relationship to them. Amazing. With all of these opportunities coming in as well, some of us may be moving, some of us may have a lot of changes and things shifting in our world. Definitely be prepared for that. I feel like some of you guys are going to be excited to hear that, because I think some of you guys want to move or want to make some big changes. So that's really exciting to know that things are actually going to start happening here. I'm being really drawn to the Taurus element of this. So I feel like by Taurus season, which is not long after Aries season, things are even going to be even more kind of in motion. I also want to encourage you to embrace the mystery here, because there's a lot of mystical things at work that are happening behind the scenes. The universe is really doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and I feel like it may be difficult to interpret or to understand or to even see, but really trust within what the universe has in store for you, okay? This is also the energy of the cat, so if you have a relationship to that at all, please know that that's coming through. But just knowing there is magic and divine influence at play here that we really need to trust within and kind of get excited about. There's so much magic in the air. It's not always like this. This is a time when it's just heightened so much, turned all the way up. And I think it's really exciting. And as much as not knowing can feel scary, remember that the energy of anxiety and excitement are kind of the same, especially when our brain interprets them. It's the same feeling. Our brain just interprets them differently depending on our experiences. So if you're feeling nervous, switch the narrative to I'm excited. I'm excited. So I've channeled some affirmations, and you can use all of them. You can use one of them. You can make your own, whatever you want to do. But get your journal out again, and I want you to write down these affirmations. So the first one is, I am now living in my highest timeline. I am now living in my highest timeline. And the next one is, opportunities are flooding into me now. Opportunities are flooding to me now. And flooding into me, flooding to me. I said both. You write down whatever feels good for you. And the next one is, money comes to me quickly and easily. This is one that you probably know, one that you've probably used, but I love it. Money comes to me quickly, money comes to me easily. Really rewriting that story that money is hard or earning it has to be hard. And the next one is, money loves me. I cannot help but be wealthy. Money loves me. I cannot help but be wealthy. And the next one is, I spread my new wings with confidence and excitement. Okay, so now we're going to step into a guided meditation, one to really just work with this energy of death, of birth, really just diving in. So if you need to pause, if you need to do something before we sit down with this, go ahead and do so. And remember, you can come back to this video as many times as you want. Utilize this, take this meditation, do whatever you want to do with it as many times as you would like to, okay? So go ahead and just get comfortable. Comfortable seat, keeping a clear channel of energy from your root all the way through your crown. So make sure your head's not like this or like this. Make sure it's just perfectly neutral. Envisioning a straight line from the base of your spine all the way up through the crown, okay? Keep your shoulders down, shoulders back a bit. Really creating a open channel for this. Take some deep breaths. Breathe out of your mouth. Full breath in. Full breath out. So I want you to imagine you're standing in the ruins of the old. of the winter, of the past. Everything has been burnt and there's nothing left. Imagining that everything from the past, maybe even everything that is familiar to you, is just gone. Standing, looking around, an endless sea of black, an endless sea of nothing. Taking it all in. Feeling the emptiness and the vastness of this cleanse, this purge, this death. And then I want you to turn around and look at what's on the other side. You know, the other side of this, it's green grass, flowers blooming, the warmth of the sun on your face. You have a butterfly flying by, looking at the vibrant color of the flowers. Starting to observe this new land, this lush, beautiful land that's full of life. It's unfamiliar, but it's exciting. The warmth of the sun, the grass and the earth beneath your feet, really just feeling the freshness of this. It feels welcoming, it feels exciting, it feels safe, promising. There's an abundance of life. It's comfortable. Knowing that this new territory, this new space is welcoming you. It's for you to experience. It's for you to step into. I want you to just take a few steps forward into this new territory, this lush, beautiful space, blooming with life, feeling the warmth all around you, hearing the birds, just letting the sun hit your face and your heart, filling you with this life and this energy, this excitement. Just continue to take steps into this space, noticing everything around you. What kind of plants do you see? What other forms of life? What's around you? Knowing that all of this is available to you now, supporting you for your highest good. Continue venturing into this new, vibrant area full of life, and find a place to take a seat. Wherever you feel called, take a seat, connecting your root and the base of your spine to the earth. Sitting down and closing your eyes in this space. Noticing the smells. Noticing the sounds. Noticing the feeling. I want you to imagine that from the base of your spine, from your root chakra, you have roots growing down deep into this new earth. This earth is just willing to hold you, willing to accept these roots. You feel the instant connection of this new territory supporting you, letting your roots grow deep and strong, feeling that energetic connection with this earth beneath you, with this new land. And as your roots grow deeper and stronger, I want you to start feeling the energy from the earth beneath you, moving up those roots, up into your root chakra, moving up through the base of your spine, moving up to your sacral chakra, the space beneath your belly button, moving up to your solar plexus in the space above the belly button, moving into your heart chakra, into your chest space, moving into your throat chakra, the space in the throat, the neck, Moving up to your third eye, space between the eyebrows. Filling that space. Feeling that connection. Moving all the way up to the ground chakra. The top of the head. Then opening up like a beautiful lotus. The petals unfolding. And this energy shooting straight up into the sky. And as it's shooting up, I want you to imagine this beam of light coming down to meet it, intertwining, interlocking. Feeling that connection of heaven and earth, the earth beneath you, the heavens above, source energy, earth energy, intertwining all within you. You being the direct link between these two things, channeling through you, feeling the support, knowing that the divine is with you at all times, thanking the divine Earth Mother, thanking Spirit, thanking Source, thanking the universe for holding and supporting you, for using you as a channel of light. Just sit with this energy for a moment, knowing that it is going to be with you every step of the way on this new journey. Take it all in. Take it all in. Start to focus on your intentions, knowing that you have the support of the earth and you have the support of the heavens to support everything that you are creating at this time. Move forward with intention. Utilize this energy and know that it is always with you. You can start to open your eyes in this space, in this clearing, in this new land that you're in. Start to notice everything around you again. And as the roots start to come back into your body, and as the petals start to close on the lotus on your head, knowing that all of that energy is within you now and that connection is with you always. And bring your hands into prayer at your heart center. And just bow your head, expressing your deepest gratitude for this beautiful energy and this support on your journey. Welcoming this renewal, welcoming this rebirth, letting go of what is gone, letting go of what has died, letting go of the winter, and embracing this beautiful, beautiful, highest timeline that you're stepping into now. Take your time with this energy. Don't rush out of it. Come back to it whenever you feel called. Utilize it as many times as you need to connect with this energy. And I'm so excited for this next season and for what is to come. So please utilize these tools. Please get in tune. Do the 30 days to money manifestation. Start dreaming up what you're going to do with this large amount of money, with this success, with this renewal. And I'm excited to see how it unfolds. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking my workshop, for your donations, for your love and support, for booking sessions with me, for everything. I'm eternally grateful and my heart is so full to connect with you and to do this work. If you enjoyed this, tell a friend, share it, leave a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.